Alrighty, let's do this. See what the day's got for us. What is going on, chill investors? All right, we're going to get everybody going. Let's see here. One more thing to do. What is going on, chill investors? All right, we're going to get everybody. I don't need to hear the music. All right, so I want to. Sorry, it's gonna be the first live stream, so a little bit of a learning curve. Continue. Start this stage. Alrighty, there we go. There we go. Alrighty. So just starting off with the Tuesday morning, nice little choppiness. We got the meeting of a rate cut, I believe, starting tomorrow. Um, I mean, until then, we're gonna have some chop happening. That's what yesterday showed us. That's what today's gonna show us. A lot of these have been green, going red, coming back to green. Um, what's crypto up to right now? Again, choppiness was red this morning, then green, now back to red. Yeah, not a whole lot there. But we are going to go over a few wheel strategy plays today. Again, you could wait for the meeting tomorrow for confirmation that we're not going to have Jerome Powell ruin us with his kind words he usually uses. Let's see here. I'm just going to go through the morning. So we got a little momentum, white lines under, so we should be looking for a move here soon. It's getting real close to the time. And then we got some Archer, which we got into. You can see on that green line is when we entered. Confirmation green, confirmation on the cross, confirmation on the cross. So that's when we got in there. Let's see here, JD. Is this today's candle? Yeah. Sure enough. We're going to come down. We broke through. Coming down, we're going to retest this white line. As long as we hold that, we'll go higher. Same thing where we kind of broke through, came back down, but this white line never reset. So I wait for the white line to reset. So we got a cross, and the green. So entry point, we've already been in this one. The entry point on this one, you would have entered probably this day. All right. This one's been a fun one for us. We're gonna go ahead. We've been in this one, and we took a entry on. I guess here, yeah. There you go. That's where we took an entry on. Entered the buy zone. Super bullish on the company, so I didn't need it to be an ad or a true buy zone. I just am confident with the company and the future that it has, that I'm comfortable holding it at 50 or buying some more at 50. It was just at 100 30 days ago, and now it got cut 50% in the next 30 days. I'm going to take advantage. I'm going to add to my position. But again, crossed over, crossed, and green light. Okay, we got SoFi. This one, I'm super bullish, but I'm super bullish with the shares I have. It is not at a point where I want to buy. Now, this was starting to get there, but we didn't carry through to this 21. And then most likely would have led to a day where we got to this 18. And this is where I would be doing some cash secured puts. And then if we got down here, this is where exactly I would be just buying the shares, because I don't think it'll last much longer down there, as it's going to be a big support, as it acted like a huge resistance before, right? Boom, 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 boom. So that's probably where I would have been buying. So I'm kind of waiting, but we have, sure enough, here, um, hit our top, came down, tested a good support, a Fibonacci support, bounced back up, back down to the next Fibonacci below it, touched that, bounced up, and now we're trying to hold this support to the upper Fibonacci again. So SoFi, I'm not currently buying at this time. We do have a little red cross here. We have a little downward. This is downward. So not that the stock's going to exactly go down, but it's definitely going to consolidate. Momentum's going to slow down just for a minute, and then we could have the catalyst come into play. I know there's a lot of things working for SoFi with crypto being now involved, so we'll start seeing people transferring money into them, and then as well as, which we saw a little tease from X, but there's some government activity happening on their website. On the backside. Sorry. Whew. All right. CSP SoFi's price and time. Sorry, going through chat. So I'm gonna go through CSPs. I'm just gonna get through these real quick in the morning. Zeta, what are we working with? We did add on this day as it came down and tested this support. Just bullish on the company. I felt confident in buying at this support line. If it broke, it would have just been a potential buying opportunity, because this was an add. I didn't buy a bunch, I just added to it. But we are coming into, a nice little wedge here. Boom, boom, boom. Test these highs right here. All right, so we're getting there on Zeta. Momentum. And we can always look at a higher time frame, but if we take a look when we would have added, could have added just right on that dip, knowing how bullish we are. But if you waited 2 days for confirmations, which again, this never reset, so I wouldn't have actually gotten in. If I wasn't confident in the company itself, indication didn't say to get in. Indication said to get in back here on these days. This is where our last indications happened in this range. So somewhere in the 13s to 11s was our indicator. All right. SBET, as you can see, whenever you get a purple, just go ahead and sell it all. Don't even think about it. All right. And now we've had some bullish crossing here, green. So our buy alert with confirmations came in right here. What does that day tell us? That day tells us somewhere at 9:35. So we are up on there. All right, we got Fubo. Time is coming. We got the first confirmation. We're about to get a second confirmation, and then we're waiting on here. Okay. So we are at a nice support. The downside is very minimal. Okay. Because the support, big support's at 250s. Okay. Versus the upside potential. So I did add to our position last week. I think it was Friday. Just in case the weekend held something or some sort of news that Monday was going to be a big day. Just wanted to take that off the table since the downside in my long-term outlook is bullish. Rocket Lab, we added indicator. Okay, we got the flip of the green here. We got crossing happening. Okay, again, this is kind of like an ASTS where the price got down at 42 and I just kind of took a stab at it, knowing that I'm bullish long term. The white line did reset. It was just a matter of time before crossing again. Cross, cross, and green. Okay, so we added at 42. We're up $8 a share. PGY. All right, so we had a downtrend here. We found the support. So now we have our new support line to follow. So we just don't want to see it break basically 21. They are a huge player in the banking technology world. So SoFi is a big partner. So one way to play SoFi would be to buy into PGY. as SoFi does well, PGY will do well. There's a bunch of banks PGY is a part of, but SoFi is one of the main ones that is trending, new, popular, that they'll probably lean on their name of popularity. All right, so we got green dot. We got the white line crossed. This one, you can't see it. That one did not cross at that point. Okay. But once I saw the break of the downtrend line is when we went ahead and took our position. Okay. Which ultimately was the same price at like the 43, 44 day. So we're just looking for that continuation. But again, it's going to come down to rate cuts for anything financial. So tomorrow would be the day, if as long as we cut rates, quarter point, market moves slowly upward for the rest of the year, I would believe, and then half cut would be a hyperbolic end of year rally. Okay, that is very low likely. If we take a look at the Fed stuff, I will pull that up a little bit. Oscar, there's news out with the potential of the extension being approved, or I believe it's already been submitted for this week. So now we're waiting on the news whether or not it's going to be approved with an ACA extension of 2 years, which that information and posts and everything came out onto our free community. So make sure that you join that. Obviously, you can see the QR code right below me, but the link will also be in the description of the YouTube video. All right, so, but where do we got Outlook? Okay, we can break this resistance here, this 24 basically resistance, 2350, 24 range. We got 26, 30. It's all going to come down to momentum and the squeezing aspect of it. And we got some 38 up here, which ultimately means 40. Okay. So it's all going to come down to Oscar. Now, Oscar long term, it gets there anyway. But it gets there a lot quicker with an AC extension, to the point where the CEO said we would need to probably give our members a little bit of money back because we just will have too much. So the growth potential and everything in Oscar is amazing. But it's just whether or not it's going to be we're going to take the fast track way, or are we going to take the slow and steady way. Either way, CEO is confident all projections he gave was without ACA extensions or ACAs in place, and they still say they will be profitable in 2026. HIMS being one of my largest holdings. Love this company. Love the outlook. Love 2026. We got green dots. We got a crossover, and we got a crossover. Okay. Boom. You're in somewhere at the 35s. We're back to 40. All right. So we're going to go over a little bit of the CSPs. If you guys don't know what CSPs are, they are cash secured puts, as well as covered calls. As of right now, for me, with the momentum potential to the upside and a lot of things being undervalued from their all-time highs 30 days ago, covered calls really aren't in the play. For me, I'm just kind of sitting here waiting. But if we take a look here, we'll go to the wheel strategy. Okay. And we're going to go through the same list. And basically, this is what my morning looks like, guys. I'm not doing CSPs on ASST, but we got Archer. Okay. We're at the middle of the band. Okay. It's fighting a resistance. You can see the middle of the band is fighting. So it's just following this band. All right. But we did have a CSP moment here earlier, somewhere in the 7s, 8s. Okay. But I'm looking for a little bit more. Obviously, I want a red day, and I want it to be on the bottom half of the band for it to be a cash secured put. I know we had a question on SoFi, so let's go ahead and take a look. Where's SoFi? We are on the second half of the band. You could be doing $25 CSPs. We have a red day today. So let's take a look at that. We're going to go ahead and go to SoFi. Okay, we're going to go ahead and trade options. Sell put, sell to open put if you are on another brokerage. I typically would like to go 30 days, so that'd be January 9th or January 16th. And let's see what 25 looks like. 25 looks like $1.07. So let's plug this into our cash secured put calculator. We got SoFi, current price, we have 27.15. Put option strike price, we're looking for 25. Premium per share looks like $1.00. Well, it's probably going to be $1.10. We'll just say. Expiration date we have is 01/16/2026. And number of contracts, I'll just default to 5. Okay. So it looks like I'll do 1, so you can just see. With $2,500 in collateral, you're looking at a $110 return. So if you just collect the premium and don't get the shares with your capital, you will still be making a 4.4% return in 38 days. That is an annualized return of 41%. Okay. I look for a minimum of 36%. That is the 3% rule, is what I follow with our growth companies. So as long as a minimum I'm making my 3% in 30 days, I'm happy with that. Okay, so that's what I would do. That is the trade I would take. That would give you the opportunity to be buying the stock at your break-even price of $23.90. If you do that, you would also be doing, I believe if we take a look at TradingView here, this got to 23.67, so it'd be just like being able to buy that day that you wish you did when it ran right back up. Okay. That is below 25 is below our current band right here. Now if we take a look, where's momentum taking us? A little further down. And what is our delta? 29.59, which is our 30 delta rule. All right. 30 delta rule is just saying that there is a 30% chance that you will get these shares, and there is a 70% chance that you will just keep the premium only. And that's the kind of range we look for. So when you want to be a little bit more aggressive, you go closer to a 40 delta. When you want to be super safe but collect, obviously you're going to collect less premium, the safer you are, you would go more to a 20 delta. Again, do not do any of these moves if you do not want to own the stock. Do not do any covered calls if you do not want to sell the stock. All right, we're going to do a couple more here, but first, if you guys have not joined our community, again, the link is in the description and the Discord is right there. It will look like this. You'll just go ahead and hit subscribe, free Discord. All right, when you are in there, there's the free Discord. You just put your Discord handle right in here and you will claim access. It will then populate inside and you will have access inside of our Discord. All right, there's a lot of helpful tools. There is my trades that I just journal for myself, and none of them are financial advice. Stock chat, crypto chat, post your profits, charts get updated. If you want me to review your portfolio, there is a 10 stock portfolio review option here. You just click this portfolio review application, click that. It'll send you a message. Go ahead and follow the instructions. And yeah, everything's in here you could possibly need. It's completely free. So just go ahead and join. All right. It doesn't cost anything. It's all free education. So make sure you join us. All right. So is there anyone else in the chat that wants me to look something up as I am filtering through some other ones here? As you can see, ASTS is towards the top of the band, so we would not be doing any covered calls here. All right. Again, we want low RSI. So we have a 45 RSI. We do prefer RSIs to get closer to that 30 range when doing cash secured puts. But again, when you are super bullish on a company, it is tough to wait for a 30 RSI. All right. Zeta, we are at the top of the band. Okay. We are 56. I'm not touching, right? At least want to be under a 50 RSI before you start placing a cash secured put. And I will go ahead and just add that middle line here. Let me go ahead and drop this. Let's add that middle line. There we go. All right, so we want that at least. Fubo is definitely at the bottom of the band, so you could do some Fubo. Again, like I said, it's bullish, so I would be saying this is probably a good time if you are thinking you want to own some shares, but you also want to protect yourself to the downside for Fubo. Fubo would be one I would do. It is the perfect timing. If you guys don't see that, let's take a look again. All right. So if we zoom in, here you go. Here's your band, right? You're at the bottom of the band. Clear as day. Even if you didn't have these trend lines, you were at the bottom of the band. we click out, where's your RSI? Your RSI is at 25 RSI. That is amazing. That is super undervalued. That is what you're looking for, especially on a bullish company. Now, again, if you're in a company that is in a downtrend, okay, obviously you have to be bullish long term if you're trying to trade something that is currently in a downtrend. Or it's got to be super undervalued to the point where it makes sense. Okay. So always do your homework. Don't just go blindly because this is at the bottom of the band. Okay. You got to obviously want to own the company. So, but everything tells us we are at the bottom of all momentum. We are at the bottom of an RSI. We are at the bottom of a MACD turnover. Tells us we're going up, which is a slight green day, but not a huge green day. So you could still do a cash secured put. Yeah, so question in the chat was just, so for covered call is better to wait until after tomorrow. And the reason I say yes is because if they cut rates or cut rates half a point and you set a covered call, let's just say for example it's SoFi, right? SoFi was currently at sorry, let me pull it up. SoFi is currently at 27.20. Well, if they cut a half a point, SoFi immediately takes off to 30. You are going to have your shares most likely called away, and you will miss the upside potential of a 30, and momentum carries on for the next 30 days, and we take off to 45, right? And now you just missed off on $15 a share. What you want to wait for are moments where let's see. SoFi doesn't get tons because it doesn't go parabolic, but a parabolic move. So let's just say ASTS has done it here, right? This is the same thing where you see this happen. It starts leaving, and you set a covered call. This is a moment where like a lot of good news came out for ASTS. The same things, a lot of things could happen for SoFi right now, and just overall market because of rate cut opportunities coming. This parabolic move happens, and sure enough, you set a parabolic move 50, maybe you set it at 60, and it goes to 100. You just missed out on $40 a share. Okay, so you have to think timing with what's going on. If there's something that is super bullish that's happening within the next 30 days, maybe it's earnings. I usually don't set covered calls or cash secured puts over the time of earnings, okay, because you don't know. As much as we want to say, yeah, it's bullish, it's gonna be good, you don't know. Something could have happened. um, so yeah, I wait for kind of just a steady area, or when I see it gets super overvalued. Right here, right where the RSI, where's the RSI? RSI was nearly 90 RSI on the daily time frame. Okay, yeah, I'm probably taking a good time to do a covered call here, somewhere in this range when it gets over this green line, and I start seeing momentum shifting to the downside. Okay, you can always do it on the downside, right? Okay, let it run, let it run, let it run. Okay, I see momentum has flipped to the downside on this crossover to the downside. Sure enough, set a covered call. Okay, or you see the MACD flip red, go ahead and set a covered call. You want to look at the opposite, right? Look for things that are bullish when we're trying to do cash secured puts, right? It's super undervalued. Now we need to look, if we're doing a covered call, at something being super overvalued. Okay, so let's go back to Fubo's example here. Fubo, same thing, gonna go out. Probably, I like this. January 16th has a lot more volume. Let's see here. We're going to sell put. And we have 33 cents. So this is a great one. Okay. This is amazing. You say, Colby, this is at a 53 delta. What are you thinking? Okay. Well, I personally want to own Fubo, but I would love to own it for less than 286. Okay. So let's go ahead and plug it in. Fubo. As long as you're bullish on Fubo, this is an amazing move. Okay. Current stock price is 285. Strike price 3. I don't always recommend, and I'm not recommending, obviously this is just educational, that you don't do a strike over. But when it comes to Fubo, right, 10 cents on your 250 isn't very much, but 33 cents, or I think it's in sets of 5 cents for Fubo, so it's either got to be 35 or 30. But if you can get that 35 cents, that'd be awesome. But we'll just go to 30 cents just to be the bearish part. All right. So the stock needs to go up 5% to not even get your shares, right? 5% move, 5.26% move gets you back to $3. It needs to get over that. But in exchange, if it gets over and it goes up 5.26% and you don't get the shares, you will collect a 10% return on your money. So for every $300 that you put into this CSP, you will collect $30, which is a 10% return, 38 days. That is a 94% annual return. However, what's a good entry price for Oscar? Are these live streams recorded? Yep, live streams are recorded. You will have them. They will be posted on YouTube. And I believe the live stream also gets saved on YouTube already. But I'll actually end up posting a video as well. It should be in the Discord. You'll see it under the YouTube tab right here, YouTube. There's the YouTube live stream. And then when it posts like a video, it'll also tell, and I'll label it a whole different thing. All right. So yes, you will be able to refer back to it. Oscar entry point. We've been given a lot of Oscar entry points. If I circle back, and I'm going to, because Fubo pretty much, there's your 10% return. There's your $3. You get to own it for $270, which is currently would be an amazing price. So don't worry, there's still more opportunities with Oscar. Again, Oscar outlook is amazing, future, long term, as long as you're long term. If you're short term, it's a 50-50 shot whether or not we're going to get these ACA extensions. I'm not super confident, but I'm not super not confident that we get them. It's really a coin flip. But anywhere in, honestly, I mean, we get ACA extensions, right here's a fine buy. But without knowing that, and you're not, this is what's going to happen the second that news comes out. Okay, this move, it's going to happen. It's going to happen again. This was the lead up last time we thought we were getting extensions. Okay, so and this is why I love the indicator. We can quickly look. Right now, we are in a neutral zone based on value and momentum, right? So if we want to wait, but if you want to start nibbling, we are entering, as you can see, the further we are getting down right now. Again, you're going to lead into rate cuts tomorrow, so it's a toss up there. We're in a lot of toss up situations where last week was a better opportunity to get into things. We are now here, and we could see an opportunity of another ad, yellow candles happening here. Now let's look at the bigger time frame, because that might tell us a better story for you at this point where the stock is. All right, so here is the weekly outlook on it. So we came down momentum, we came back up, tested this white line, and we're rejecting it as we're currently going down. So we could come down, maybe touch this green line, and then bounce back through. Momentum is getting pretty much, RSI momentum is getting pretty much reset, coming down here. And then we have the MACD kind of plateauing, trying to flip back to bullish like it did right here. Okay, so if this is the case, we have this happening right here. As you can see, momentum is shifting. We'll go this way, same thing, right? Slowing down here. Any point, anywhere, I believe I own a good chunk of shares somewhere in this 16 range as well. On this run up, one of these run ups, I bought somewhere in the 16 range. I think it was down, yeah, it was this fall right here, bought, and then we went on a run. So I am confident long term, as long as you're long term outlook. I think Oscar, you're perfectly fine. Dollar cost averaging as you slip down from here. Anything under 17, I think, is a great buy. Because I still think, as you can see, we have been here for many times. Boom, boom, boom. Right? We just keep coming down. So I would say you can take some nibbles here, and then if we get a better opportunity, go ahead and take a bigger stab at it. As far as Oscar on the wheel strategy, if you want. So we're on this top half of the band. So I wouldn't do a cash secured put, but you can see it's going boom and holding here. So it kind of looks like a bull flag. Let's see here. Cash secured put you could do on Oscar if you just want to own the shares. Okay, so you can always use this strategy for a whole nother reason. You don't have to do it for premium chasing or anything like that. You could do it just to get yourself a better entry because you don't love buying it at 1670. You'd love to buy it even cheaper than that. So what you could do is sell a put. We'll go ahead. If we're doing short term, we could do a week. Okay, look at this. 17. Go ahead. 10 days. As long as it stays under 17, you'll get this dollar and you'll actually own the stock for 16. Okay. You could do that. That is an amazing one. Tons of open interest. All right. If you don't want that and you want to do a little less risky, okay, this would be like trying to get the shares. And what does that look like on return here? Yeah, I would just wait, Miguel, on extra premium covered calls personally, just because of the bullishness with the interest rates. So I would just wait for that to come out, just to know the exact direction. All right, so we got Oscar. Current price is 16.71. If we did the 17 and got a dollar, and that was only for 12.19. One contract. I mean, look at that. That's a nice 5.88% return if it goes back above 17, which you only need a 2% run to happen for it to stay over that in a week. Okay. And if it doesn't happen, you will get to own the stock for 16. That is how you buy something for better than the current price. If you wanted to buy it right now, right, you would have to buy it for 16.70. If you wanted to wait 10 days, you can go ahead and make a 5.8% return potentially instead of just owning the stock, which is more than the stock would need to run, right? It needs to run 1.7% to make 5.8. That's pretty good return. 211% annualized if you could do this every how many days? 10 days. Okay. So if you wanted to do cash secured put or give a cash secured put a try on Oscar and to own the shares, that is what I would do. Now, if you wanted to play it more safe, okay, 16, you get 50 cents. You're going to own it for 15. You'll probably get it for 55 cents. So 15.45 is what you get it for. Or you can get it for 15.75 if you did the 16.50. Okay. Looks like premiums. Let's see. What's our implied volatility? 77%. Yeah, it's good. Anything over 50, I'm taking. I don't want implied volatility to be so low the premiums aren't worth it. So that's a great play. All right. Anyone else got any other questions going through? We got some stock bots. Again, these are adding to our watch list here. So keep an eye on, and I will show you. So for example, why did it give us Hive? Because Miguel, you're going to want to see it because this is why. Okay. We're in the add zone, buy zone. We got momentum right here, dancing. White line has reset. This is shifting up. MACD is green. Okay, so it's just telling you like, hey, go take a look at it because it might be an opportunity that you want to jump into. Okay, because we got to, there you go. Buy, add, trim, covered call. If you wanted to do a covered call, would have done it there. And we got the add, so it's telling us we are in an add zone. Okay. So that is what the bots tell us. Yep, exactly. So that is what the bot is here for. It's to just tell us, that's for the swing one. That's going based on the daily. Now the other one, I don't know if an alert came out yet on Take Me Long. Let's see, did it? Did we get a Take Me Long? Honest. Okay, Honest is in a downtrend. I know that for sure. But Take Me Long watch list is based on weekly time frame. Okay. So if you take a look, why did that happen? Well, the white line got under the green line and we have a bullish start to it. This one went up, but the white line never got under, right? So we wouldn't have taken that trade. Now we are getting interested in this trade. MACD, we're waiting for a flip of green. So this is why I say it's to add it to your watch list, take a look because it could be an opportunity. So that's what those bots are looking for. They're looking for a complete reset to happen and a crossover to be happening. They will not go off of a closed candle. They stay on an open candle. That way you can get your eyes on it on your watch list sooner rather than later. Okay. What do we got going on today? Who's our big winners today in the market? TE back and running. ADA crypto running. That's good. Um, I think got into this one a while ago, and now it's kind of looking like a potential opportunity. Now weekly, like you can see, weekly has not reset, so I would say it's a little bit more of a short-term bullishness on here, because I believe we did get an alert, SLNH, right? Yep. Sure enough, it reset, bullish and bullish. Okay. So, and this thing swings a lot, so it's kind of tough because you could one day be 152 to the next day. Sorry about that. Next day to 190, and then the next day back down to 159. Okay. So just be aware this thing does move. As you can see, it moves a lot. It moves a lot to the other side as well. Okay. So just be aware. We got Iran going up. Nice. Cypher. All right, ABCL, it's good to see. I'm bullish on this one right here. This is the one I'm waiting for, this little breakout to happen. It's coming out. It's going to retest. We have this downtrend it's breaking out of. Okay, we got a green. We got a green. Like, I think this is going to break out and we're going to go back up. And this thing has a good long-term outlook on it as well. Probably closer in the 20s, 30s. So, good morning. How you guys doing? Yeah, I see the run. It's happening. They're running. Sure enough. But if you take a look here, here's the Fibonacci. It's fighting. It is having a hard time fighting this Fibonacci right here. Um, so, and if you guys don't know what Fibonacci's are, basically what you do, I'm going to zoom in. Basically what you do, because this is, again, I'm just here to teach you guys a little and teach you what I know, and you guys can use it if you want. So if you go ahead and grab a Fibonacci retracement tool so you can figure out where the support zones will kind of come into play, right? You just grab this tool. What you're going to do is you're going to grab the very bottom of the impulse, okay? So this is where the very bottom of the big move happens. So if you're looking for the big moves to find out where the big like reset's going to happen, not this little move, right? If you want to find this little move, you grab the bottom and you go to the very top line, and that's where like the little move happens, okay? But I look for the bigger moves. I don't look for the little waves. I want the big waves. Okay, so all I did was grab that low point here before the big run up happened, right? It was kind of like in a downtrend here. Once we saw that low point, and then I grabbed that high point, it plotted the 0.68 is the golden Fibonacci. That is where you want to actually start looking to buy. It's just the human brain tends to let things get down to this specific Fibonacci. But it came down, it held the support at the 0.5, it's bouncing up, and now it's having this resistance at the 0.236. If we reject this, right, we reject this, we could see the 11, okay? And that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the 11 opportunity to buy Cypher, okay? What does momentum tell us? Well, we're trending on the daily, as you can see. We broke out, we crossed over, retested, and bouncing back up. If you go to the weekly on Cypher, that's good. I need that blast. All right. Here you go for Cypher on the weekly. Okay. Let me change this downtrend. It never reset. We still have this trending down. We have the MACD trending down, but you can see it's kind of like plateauing. So we could see just like a continuation a little bit. But it never had a full reset for me to be like, yeah, this thing could run a lot like it did last time. I don't think it's going to run a lot like it did last time just because we didn't get enough of a pullback and a reset and a consolidation. RSIs are still sitting up there at 58, 68 RSI, right? We never got to the point where it was like a no-brainer. So RSI, if you take a look on there, RSI 55, 58. Never, I mean, the weekly RSI got down, but the daily RSI ultimately stayed the same. Daily is the 55 on that little hover. MicroStrategy is, I hope so. CleanSpark, we got crypto running. Fannie Mac, BTBT, Cypher, BMNR. Good. Get these running. Let's see. Yep, SBET 5%. Yep. Weekly. Here's the weekly time frame. If you think that we're not bullish, We got momentum shifting. Okay. RSI starting to curl up. And we're about to get this MACD to flip green on the weekly. I just am more bullish than I am bearish right now for these companies. But I'm in it. I'm here. Okay. Let's see. What other ones you guys got? CleanSpark too. Yeah, I saw CleanSpark running. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. Just in a long consolidation period, and sure enough, you got a nice little trim. And we got a nice little add. Weekly has not reset. Okay. But for here, what do we got? It definitely had a reset. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that beautiful when you get an add, trim, and now we got an add again. It reset, it crossed over. This is the buy right here. This is like the setup. There you go. That day. Oops. You can see the MACD flip green, momentum shifted, crossed after the white line reset, and we have the RSI momentum curling up. Okay, all three curled up. We are in an add or a buy zone. Boom, take the trade. Yep, ASST, I see right here. Nice 1%. We're getting back to $1. Same thing. We have the white line under. We haven't crossed yet. RSI is downtrending. MACD is already flipped green. Okay, so we're kind of waiting on this momentum to kind of break out. It needs a little bit more momentum, but a lot of things. Let's see, where are we at with crypto? We really need for ASST to really rally. It needs to get over 95. Bitcoin needs to get over 95. That's when the rally kind of starts. And then 100 is the start of like a true breakout. But the momentum and the rally starts when we can get this Bitcoin to 95. Okay. This needs to rally, which obviously rate cut will help that. ASTS coming down, which is fine. Let it breathe. Bullish long term. If you guys have this, I really don't know where I would sell. 150 was my initial thought. That just might not be the case anymore. Been waiting on MicroStrategy to run. It depends on Bitcoin. Yep. All of these are going to depend on crypto. BMNR, MicroStrategy, SOLT. Let's take a look. Yep. Where was our entry point? Confirmation came here. So we would be looking at here. We would have been buying at 805 was our essential buy. So again, I think this is a great zone. We're in the buy zone. We have confirmation of things flipping. It's retesting a breakout. So it's just a matter of time. Yeah. But this allows you guys to take big opportunity here. I own this. I have it staked. I'm just holding it. Not the ETF, but the actual crypto. I own Solana. I own Ethereum, and I own ADA. Those are the three. Ethereum and Solana are staked. Not getting rid of them. ADA is just a play because they said it was going to be part of a treasury. Very small position, just worth a shot. Such a low cost one that it could just, and it moves. As you can see, it moves a lot compared to everything else. So, what's that look like? Yep, we got that momentum. Yep, so here's your buy. Okay, you wouldn't have bought. You could have bought also there. There's two buys. Up to you where you would have bought. Boom. Anywhere in that zone. All right. Let's see. What does ASST look like on the weekly? I don't think I looked at that. Weekly time frame. Yep, we've reset. Just a matter of time, guys. Just got to be in it in order to. I did a cash secured put on ASST. It's in this joint account of mine. Here it is. We did a $1 CSP last Friday expiring, and we ended up getting assigned And what did we get assigned for? We got assigned for 89.05 on a cash secured put on it. I don't know what Friday got down to. It probably was near that bottom though. That Friday. Let's see. What did ASST's Friday get down to? That's Tuesday, Monday. Here's Friday. The low, 88.05. That was the low. If I could have timed the bottom, I would have bought a penny less. But it closed at 93.43, I think, aftermarket. So I was able to buy it for 4 cents less than the aftermarket close. And that was a negative 7% day. That was a big day. But that just tells you how a CSP works. I put it at $1. It stayed under $1. I owned it for 89 cents. The following week now, we're back to 99 cents. And now we're up 10%. All right. What other ones you guys want me to go over? More wheel strategy stuff? You want me to go over the indicators? What do you guys want? Any tickers you want me to look at? Guys, when you guys are in part of the community, you guys get to join these live streams and go ahead and populate the ticker you guys want. I'll take a look, give you guys my initial opinion. Again, go ahead and just join. Link in the description as well as right there on your screen with the QR code. NVTS, I am a huge fan. So, where did ours come into play? Okay, we got a green MACD there. Hasn't crossed yet. So at some point, you got a MACD green. Okay, so MACD. So first thing I look at typically is the MACD. Okay. Do I see this trend happening to the green side? Yes. Now, if you want to wait for the confirmation, sure, wait for the confirmation. There's your confirmation. Okay. Then you can wait. I'm going to go ahead and just put that line there. Then you can wait for this next one, which crossed, which is going to be here. And this one already crossed in between there. So at some point in between these 3 days on this run up, which is still a good buy, somewhere in the 8s, right? And somewhere in the 7s. So you had a nice 50-cent range right here where you could have bought. Okay. Momentum on the daily, yes, is shifting down just slightly. But if we go ahead and take a look at the weekly, I think long term too, it's a good play. Here we go. We got momentum coming up. This is the time. See how like the white line touches the green and then we get a crossover? We like the white line resetting and touching the green before we take an entry. But it's not the only rule. Obviously, do as you want. But that's what I try to stick to. Acting like a rate cut just happened as I was expecting a flat day. Yep. And I'm sure at 130 we're going to see a slight pullback happening. It's just how the market does it. TE, Galaxy, Solano. So we got to break out of this downtrend, it looks like. Overall, I mean, as long as semiconductors, right, are doing well, this one will be running as well. We had beautiful alerts on this one. We got ads, buys. Wait a little bit. We got some trimming. Trimming. Okay, we're back into that buy zone entry where you could have bought right here, and you should be up roughly $1 from your entry. Okay, you're in a neutral zone, so this is, your call when it comes to neutral zones. Everything's your call, but neutral zones isn't to the point where it's overvalued and it's not to the point where it's undervalued. It's just valued. On the stock, will it hit 17 again? Yeah, I do believe so. But you got to wait for wave 1 in order to be able to tell you where the next wave is going. So if you don't know how that works, you got to wait for this to happen and where a pullback happens. Because I can tell you, for example, right on this one, where is it? An easier one, I guess. It's ASTS. So let's go with Oops. There. Because I knew this wave hit the top and then we got a nice pullback, it told me that where we're going with this stock is in this zone. So I knew that when it ran, it was going to run and we were going to fight this resistance right here. And I should probably be taking a look at where to exit and where momentum is starting to shift. You can see the downplay here. Boom, 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 boom. You can see some choppiness. We're at the top. Okay. So knew we are getting pretty dang close. We're in here and we hit this exactly right at this 92, 98 zone. So without having a full wave, you can't fully give the correct where the stock is going. Because this is the pullback that happened. And I can tell you where that pullback was going to happen because we can go boom, Fibonacci retracements, grab the very bottom of your wave, which is before that even happened, right? Go ahead and put this at the very top. I don't do the very peak because I do where the majority hit, which was like this day. And sure enough, it came down to the golden Fibonacci. This is why they say to just buy on the golden Fibonacci, because a lot of the times it's going to. And if you get the opportunity for it to fall back even further, even better. But a lot of the time it comes right here. Boom. You see that support is holding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different days on that Fibonacci. You had a whole week of it sitting on this Fibonacci level. And sure enough, momentum then shifted and we go back to the upside. That's how the Fibonacci's happen. Sorry if you see me looking over there. I'm looking at the chat. That's how the Fibonacci's work. That's the retracement level. Now we want to wait to see exactly where this goes and meets resistance. And then I can figure out where, meets resistance and pulls back. Again, you have multiple days for this to happen. Each day is a candle. It's not like it touches it, you meets resistance, the next day it finds the bottom. Like it takes a couple days for this to all kind of manifest, right? But sure enough, in order to know where this was going to go, right, we had 3 different tops right here. So you had basically from October 22nd till, even this day, this big drop day still came down to the Fibonacci. So you had from the top fall, which would have been October 22nd, all the way till November 6th. So you had roughly 2 weeks to chart that, figure out where the retracement level would have been, and you would have been looking at that golden Fibonacci level, 0.618. You're going to sell ASST at 10? All right, Miguel. When it's at 8 or 7, I better not hear that you sold. Don't you do it. All right, what else we got? Yeah, everything's kind of, a lot of stocks are going to be choppy. Let's see. What do we got? Cypher, Iran doing their thing. Nice. Yeah, there you go. More realistic, $5. I agree. Yeah, it's tough. It just depends on how fast it moves. So, same thing happened. I mean, if you take a look, right? We've hit some sell zones, right? We had the buys and then sell and sell. Some ads. We hit some sell zones. So, just keep an eye on the indicator. Keep an eye on momentum. I mean, quick glance, it's going to be pretty easy to know exactly when you're kind of hitting some sell zones, right? Archer, sell zone, sell zone, sell zone, sells, right? That's amazing. I sold Palantir too early, unfortunately. I sold Palantir too early and I sold Hood too early. I owned Hood around, I think, 18. And Palantir I owned at, I think, roughly 18. So guess what I'm not doing with SoFi? Because of Robinhood, I'm not selling SoFi. As long as my thesis and everything doesn't change with SoFi. I'm not selling SoFi. Not selling it. I learned from the other ones. I'm not selling HIMS either. Too much conviction. That's a good play. 12 to 22. No, these are great trades. It's just they weren't investments. They were trades. Obviously, you held Palantir for 2 years, so that's kind of tough. But 2,400%, you just can't be mad. Think about it. As much it's hindsight's always going to be 2020, right? I mean, a year later, you see a stock is up. Yeah, I had it for this. Yeah, of course. But you got to think also what money you made while you had that 2,400% return. What did you use that money for? Did you use it to make more money? Then it's really hard to track if you've made more or not, which most likely with Palantir we did not. But I took my Palantir wins and I put it in HIMS. So I'm still confident in that HIMS could I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to say out return Palantir potentially. Yeah. So that was a good one. We got in that one, or my buddy's in that one, but we saw this downtrend. We had a good support happen, double bottom, right? It came down right near that support level. Then we broke this downtrend. We got momentum shift. We got momentum shifting up here, and could have bought. I mean, at any point you could have bought anywhere in this high threes and low threes range. Sure enough, yeah. Yesterday was like a 7% day. Yeah, my buddy loves it. He actually prefers Summit, but he's got tons in Summit. Yeah, it looks bad, but when you zoom out and you take a look at where he bought, it doesn't matter. I think he bought somewhere in this $2 range. So he had a good run up on this day when it went up to 30s, 40s. He sold some, but he's still holding. And they kind of go hand in hand, to be honest. A lot of the things happen when Pulse moves, Summit moves. So they are kind of right there with each other. You're waiting for Prime to for an approval, right? I think that's what's happening. We're waiting on trial or approval of some sort. He's been watching Prime and Summit since 2023 or something. But as you can see, Prime is the most recent. Summit has been in the uptrend. Still choppy. ASTS, SoFi. SoFi doesn't know if it wants to be green or red. They're struggling. They closed their offering though. That's good. Yeah, trial and hopefully approval. Let's see here. We got Neo. Neo's on a nice. If this was the bottom, that's going to be your support line, which it looks like it was. We got it rejected. It didn't cross yet. We got the green flip there. We got a green flip there. So all we're waiting on is this momentum. Now you got this trend line here of momentum. So could we do a little consolidation, kind of ride this line? Absolutely. But we will break it. It could also just break. This is what I think is going to happen. It's going to break it. It's going to go up, test, then retest the white line, and then bounce through. So it's going to look a little like boom, boom, boom. That's what I think. Turned out so watery. All right, so we got Cypher, nice 5%er. What else? Who's our big winners just now, later in the day? TE. Clean Spark, nice. We got an alert earlier, I think, on our Discord on watch list. It's an ugly chart. But we are consolidating a lot down there. At some point, it's Jet Company. Some point, I like the weekly better on this one. Wait for this thing to reset. It's almost there, and then wait for that cross. And then it'll take off like a jet. But I think our alert came in on that one. up at 66.88. Well, that would have been a pretty good buy. We're at 71. All right. Yeah, I think let's go to XFeed and let's just see. You guys are gonna see what my XFeed looks like. Rocket Lab. Nice. Hims. There's your SoFi accounts opening might be up 74% month over month. That's awesome. Let's see here. Director of Design Engineering. That's awesome. NBIS Land Acquisition in Missouri. That's awesome. There you go. Wanted to know why things are happening? There's one thing. Job data. More openings than estimated. That's bullish. Okay. Banks offering credit against Bitcoin. There we go. It's just a little bit of time, guys. And I honestly, I'm more bullish than I am bearish, and that's usually the case for me. But right now, okay, ASTS, what are you doing here? What are we doing here? So if I wanted to know where this pullback was coming in, I would grab the bottom of this last move, right? Grab here. And then if this was the top, I would grab that top. Okay. And typically you don't get this low of a pullback and not usually that deep. So typically you're looking for this zone. 66, 63, 60. If a pullback is happening and this is the top, this is where the pullbacks are happening. That's how you do it. Super easy. It's just good to know. Just so you can do, pull. If you grab the bottom of this wave and the top of this wave, and you do the other Fibonacci, there you go. It came down, touched here, right? Bounced. That day, got close to your golden Fibonacci, bounced up, came down, touched this Fibonacci. Sure enough, there you go. That's how you do the Fibonacci levels. Nice and easy. Just depends on your time frame. Daily, weekly. Oh. So I would what daily is two options. It's 8 and 21. I think it's 8 if you're using candles. I use 21. Um and I use for weekly 12. Yep. If you guys wanted to know what the white dots, orange dots are, I keep forgetting to explain this. It's a squeeze indicator. Okay. So basically, how a squeeze indicator works, and I'm going to go to the Bollinger Bands because that's what a squeeze happens right here. So you can see that it's getting closer and closer and closer, and now we're getting into a squeeze where this point, this ratio of Bollinger Bands has gotten to the ratio where the squeeze mathematically has happened. Okay, and it's getting closer and closer and closer. Okay, and now you got this, a white dot happened. That means the squeeze released because the bands expanded. And guess what? It was to the upside. Okay, same thing. I'm sure we can find one. SoFi's been in a squeeze, right? This is getting tighter and tighter and tighter. Squeeze here, tighter, tighter, tighter. Okay. So that just means the squeeze is happening. You're going to see a move. The more orange dots, the bigger the move is. And that's why this is worrying me. There's a lot of squeezing happening. Not quite sure what direction we're going to go with this squeeze, but the squeeze is happening. So now we're waiting to see the release happen. And is it going to be to the upside or to the downside? To the downside, this is happening. Okay. To the upside, 45, I guess, is everyone's number. So 45. So the big squeeze, the more orange dots, the bigger the move is coming. I'm sure I can find more. I'm sure Hims has had some. Yep, see, you can see here, orange, 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 released. And the release happened here, and we went to the downside. You can tell because also look at the direction of the MACD. When that released, where's the MACD going? Doo, right? Is there another one? I'm sure there is. There's lots of. The more orange dots, the bigger the move. Boom, 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 boom. Boom. Take a look at the MACD up top. It is in the red. We're going to the downside. Boom, boom, boom. It's different if you saw it curling up right now and you saw that happening and it released, right? Here's your little orange dots. Boom, boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I like 8, but obviously you're close enough to 8. And we got a green MACD, which is going to squeeze. That is how that works. Okay, so put it here in the center just so it's easy. I didn't have to put another indicator on a fourth one on this page. I can just build it into the center line, and it allows me to see when something is squeezing. Like this, squeeze, 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 squeeze. Release the squeeze. It is red. Sure enough, we did go a little bit more red. Nothing crazy. It wasn't a lot of oranges, just enough. And you would know that the squeeze released, and then you saw momentum flipped. You could have bought, which is when we bought. We added here. Yeah, 42 or something like that. We bought somewhere. Boom, ran up. What are the ones you guys got? Let's go. SBET. Hims. I'm not selling Hims. Not doing it. I've done a few covered calls, made some good money. But APLD, I got a buddy that's in that one. He owns it, I think, at like 4.8 something. He owns it down here. He didn't want to listen to me. He didn't want to listen when I told him on this day. He didn't want to listen. That's when the sell would happen. MACD, obviously we're in a sell zone. We got the cross to the downside. We got a cross happening here. Soundhound. That was one of my top picks for the week. I like Soundhound. I will go over it. If I want to increase my cash and invest more, do you thinking move into day trading is a good idea? No. Nope. Now, if you buy something thinking long term in case your day trade doesn't happen, then sure. But I never buy something thinking that it's only going to be for a day. If you want to do that and you want to raise capital, start learning safe covered calls to raise cash. Yep. You would have, if you did your 20 trim, yeah, I mean, we had a trim at 20. But if you take a look, MACD, nothing's telling us that momentum on the MACD has flipped. You would have maybe done your first trim here, yeah, which would have been at that little 22 range. So first trim would have happened. And then we got a green, 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 and then you wouldn't have sold, done anything until 35. I'll pull up sound while you're typing in Scar. Okay, so you had sound following this downtrend line. We did break the downtrend line. We have held this support line now. This is going to be this one. The furthest it would have gone down would have most likely been this 930 something where this like kind of support base happened. So that's what this green support line was, but it created its own support. So we are in an add buy zone. Momentum has flipped. You can see that. MACD is green. So I am bullish on the daily chart. But our indicator would have been on this day. Yeah. This is when we would have been buying, which is roughly $1 less than currently is. Weekly on sound. Sure enough, purple candle, sell all. Don't even think about it, just do it. Sell it all. Got it? Cool. Obviously, I'm telling you, the only one that I've seen that really has gone higher would have been Iren, but not a whole lot. The upside versus the downside, I think it went up another like 13%, but it came down obviously a lot more, or 20% went up and 30 or 40% dropped. So, all right, so here we go. Here's the weekly. You don't have a crossover yet, but this is coming down. Yeah, I think that entry point on the daily would have been just fine. I think that by the time this consolidates and everything, that buy point, even right now, I mean, it's not far off, right? You're within the dollar difference. And we got some squeezing happening on the weekly time frame. So yeah, I think what's happening, if this is happening to the downside right now, that it's going to just test that line and then go higher. Yeah, I like sound. I've been in sound. I traded sound. That was a great one. Good win. I made a lot of money on the wheel strategy, I'm sure, on this one. I don't know if I have it on this portfolio or not. Oh, sound. There you go. So the profit I made on the stock itself was only 2,800, but running the wheel and the premium I collected was closer to 4 grand. So total combined overall, I made 6,700 on that stock but mainly was from doing the premium collecting. Yeah, so when you think you would sell your stock, if you are someone that doesn't want to sell, obviously don't do it if you don't want to sell. That's step number 1. But if you are trying to raise capital because you don't have any more to invest and you obviously want to hold everything, the way to do it is when you get to a point where you're like, oh man, this thing is way overvalued or something like that. Like, I probably should sell. That's probably the time you should do a covered call. Okay. And I'll give you an example here. I mean, Hims. I believe Hims is an amazing stock. Okay. But sure enough, when an RSI gets to, if you can see that, RSI candle 89 and an RSI weekly candle of 83 at 60 after it just ran from 14, right? And we have an RSI of 90. You can bet that is going to come down. And you don't have to hold a covered call the whole time, just so you know. If you haven't done one before, you don't have to hold it the whole time. You can go ahead and place it. You can wait 2 days and it goes down. You can go ahead and just take a portion of that win. You don't have to take the whole win. Okay. But when you get to the point where you say, I should probably look into selling this, we're getting pretty overvalued, it is a good time to probably start looking at doing a covered call. And you can still do a very safe covered call. And by that, what do I mean? Let's go ahead and I'll show you an example on Hims, because I've done this many times. I don't want to get rid of Hims either. But I can't let my capital just sit here and consolidate for too long. Like, I need it to still make me some money. So what can I do? I can go 30 days out. Let's just go to January 16th. Sell a call. I can still make money right now by saying I will sell my shares at $80. I can't make a lot of money, but I can still make some money. There's a 3% chance that it gets to 80 in the next 38 days. Like, I don't know. And again, they come up with a calculation based on, volume, movement, all that. Like, there's a lot that goes into their formula. But the likelihood of it getting to 80 in the next 30 days, 38 days. I would hope it gets there. Would I sell? If it did a run between now and the next 38 days to 80, I probably will be able to buy it for less than 80 if I just give it a little time. Okay. Does that make sense? Like, go ahead and set some high targets. I mean, go for 95. You're not going to make a lot, but I don't know. I have 30. I can do like 30 contracts. So yeah, it'll put $500 in my account. Well, that's $500 I wouldn't have, and the stock has to get to 95. It hasn't even been to 95 before, right? Like, I can still make some money. It's not worth, right? It's not worth just letting it sit there and not. If you already plan on holding it for a long time, it doesn't hurt. Yeah, minimum, like, I like closer to 70 to start covered calls. Now, like I said, if you don't want to get rid of your shares, make sure you do a higher or a lower delta, right? The higher the delta, the juicier the premiums. And think of these as a percentage of selling your stock. Okay, 37% chance I sell my stock at 45. Okay, well, 3% chance selling it at 80, right? So find where you want, but yes. So if you do the wheel strategy on our charts, what do? We get our Bollinger Bands. Okay, where's HIMS? Let's go to the, here we go. Okay. Here's HIMS. On the 1 day, it says the stock shouldn't really get closer to 47. If it was to go and run, 47 is kind of the number. Now you can change this to the weekly, and it says 65. So again, you're at the bottom of this band, and RSI is 42. I'm not doing it right now, but I'm just saying that if I wanted to and I needed $500 or whatever, I would set it above 65 on the weekly. If we got up here to 56, then I would set it, low delta. Delta's the chance it happens. So you can do both. I prefer just using the daily here and just knowing the deltas. Okay. So if this says 50, basically, right? 47 to me is 50. I'm a little kid. I just round up. So 50 RSI or 50, 23 delta. Okay. I really don't want to sell HIMS, right? So I would probably go a little less risky and probably go to the $60. And have you done a covered call before or anything? Ever? Because you can roll. You can always roll. Okay, perfect. Yeah, you can roll once you're in a position. If you need to kick the can down the road, you can kick the can down the road. For example, this is a cash secured put for PGY that we did and put out in the community. Okay. Have you ever rolled before or knew how to roll? And when did you do it? I'm just curious so we can play back the scenario. Yeah, it's always good to know how to roll if you're doing these. Okay. Sorry, looking at the chat, waiting. Oh, okay. So when it was 16, yeah, when it did that 16 to 60 run or something like that, that's when I was into. Yeah. Okay, so I survived. I did the same thing you did. I had a 32 strike, but I survived. I held all my shares. And that's because I just knew how to roll. So, for example, this is a cash secured put. So you got to think the opposite way, right? Cash secured put, I'm going to try to roll and move the strike down or just buy myself more time. Okay. Covered call would be the same way, just moving the strike up or just timeout. So if I click this, right, and I didn't want, and I was like, oh man, PGY, is at 22 and I don't want to own it quite yet, right? It needs a little bit more time to do its thing, right? Well, what you can do is you can hit this roll this position, and all brokerages have it. Robinhood makes it the easiest, but roll this position, okay? And all you're gonna do is kick a can, okay? Currently, my expiration is December 19th. Okay, well let's roll it to January 16th. Let's just keep the same strike. Sure enough, if I keep the same strike, they're gonna pay me $1.10, and now I don't have to sell it until January 16th instead of it being December 19th. Okay, does that make sense? Now, if the stock goes too far away, again, you want to be proactive on your rolling, not reactive on your rolling. So basically what that means is for me to roll this cash secured put, I wouldn't wait for PGI or PGY to get down to 15 and then roll. I would see, oh, the momentum has shifted. We're going down. Let me go ahead and roll that position 30 days out already while it's at 22 or 23, right? I want to be proactive when you already see all the indications of momentum have shifted to the downside or to the upside, right? You want to be proactive on that roll. You could roll out instead of it being January, I could roll it to February, right? You could roll and kick that can as far as you want. So what did I do? I rolled my HIMS call out an entire year to save it. And when that April crash happened, it gave me an opportunity to get out. Yeah. So, give it a shot. Do it. Don't have to do it on your entire position. Miguel knows I gave him I gave him a ONDS cash secured put, and he's never done one before, so I said just do one, see how it works, see if you like it, right? Don't go all in. This is money, your money. This isn't just play money. This is real money. So he did it. He did well with his cash secured put. He got pretty much all the premium within a day. And he wishes that he did. I see you typing. He wishes that he did all of his money because it went in his favor. But obviously, it could have happened the opposite way, and he wouldn't be saying this. Yeah, should have got a lot more. So you can roll. If I didn't want to do January, always roll to a credit. Okay. Because if I did January, let's just say I wanted to roll down to 22, it would cost me $188 because it's a debit to roll down to $22 instead of keeping it at 25. Now I could roll it down to 23. So instead of saying I want to buy PGY for 25, I can buy it for 23 and they'll still give me a credit of 17 cents, which is 17 cents on top of what I've already collected. So if I've already collected on PGY, just remember 17 cents and $2. Okay. Remember $2 strike. Instead of buying it for 25, I'm going to buy it for 23 and I'm going to add 17 cents. So now if I go to my PGY cash secured put, I got $1.80. So what does that mean? I'm going to actually get $1.97 because I add 17 cents. Bring out the calculator just for fun. $1.97. Okay. And now, instead of 25 minus $1.80, which is 23.20, that's what I would buy this for, right? We got the break even right there. What I'm going to now buy this for is $23 minus the $1.97. So instead of buying it for $23.20, I will now get to buy it for $21.03 because I'm giving up another month or 2 months, whatever you roll to, of my time. They're paying you for your time. Okay. And that's how you manage your position. Okay. And again, you want to be proactive on it. Don't be reactive as far as waiting for it to get so far away that if it gets so far away, you won't be able to roll. What you'll have to do is just keep the same strike, roll 2 months, and basically maybe get a break even. Like you won't make any more premium, but you get to potentially give it more time. Okay. And then you got to value in that 2 months time while waiting for the stock to come down. Could I have just let that stock go, got my gains, and then bought something else? So you need to see what else, if it went away, what would you be buying with that money? Because you need to know what you're going to do with that money if you get that money. So same way, I always have a plan. Like I'm looking at stocks. I see momentum is shifting for which ones? Oscar, right? Any moment Oscar takes off and we have a huge rally and we get to the point where we hit some sell areas and I can trim, where am I putting that money? Okay. Because any moment now, Oscar could have that breakout and I want to be able to know where I'm going to put that money. And I've said if HIMS stays down here in the low 30s, mid 30s, I might even add and take my healthcare position and add it to another healthcare position. Okay. Or if Oscar goes up and Zeta goes down, I will start my bigger Zeta position. Okay. Just be ready for those moves to happen when an expiration date comes. Okay. Any other questions on the wheel strategy? Any questions on rolling? Anything? Market cooling a little or no? Got over $1. Come in. These cooled down. A little bit of cool down happening. On the WAP guys, again, free trial for these indicators. All of these are available to you. Yeah, so most of my gains for the year actually came from the wheel strategy. And I've sold a few stocks, few options along the way. But majority is because that wheel strategy is, like um, 2 months ago or something, I was able to do pretty much sell a bunch of contracts, go ahead and pay a bunch of credit cards, pay for my flight to go to California, pay whatever bills, and then we were just been trundling down this whole time, and I got to collect most of that premium, and then I move on. I have all my shares. I didn't have to sell anything in order to do any of that. Of course. Thank you guys for your guys' support in the community. Again, go ahead and share it with friends. Again, it's completely free, so it doesn't cost your friends anything to get the free education or help that you guys are getting. This is not a community that's like keep secret. I don't want that. I want people to be able to grow. I want a community that actually communicates with each other. My goal is to keep the community free going forward. There's no plan to get people in and then completely change the price. That's not the plan. The only thing that helps me and truly benefits me and my time for doing this with you guys is the indicator and the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet is meant for the wheel strategy. That's right here. That I use to track my wheel strategy performance. This one is just like a dummy account. This isn't in my actual portfolio. But some of them have some real transactions in it. Here's my ONDS if you want to know, Miguel. Look at me. I was doing cash secured puts at 350. 60 contracts, 32 contracts, 5 contracts, 30 contracts. Yep. And I own some shares at $1.88. So I was just trying to buy more. And I didn't get any of these. None of them got assigned. Do you know why? Because 2 days later, 4 days later, I closed them because I collected. I was supposed to get 14%. I closed that one early. I didn't like there was a day or something that I bugged, but 32 contracts, 40 cents. I was supposed to get 11% return. The following day, I was able to basically collect like 50% of it, whatever, 480. Okay. I was able to collect a good chunk within 1 or 2 days, and I just closed them, right? It's not worth me going ahead and like waiting the extra 28 days, and it didn't ever come back down, so I wasn't going to get the shares. Don't sell ONDS. Don't you do it. Honestly, Miguel, you want to know my target for probably 6 to 12 months? I would kind of wait until 24. Yeah, but that's my investing outlook. That's not my trading outlook. Yeah, they're doing all the right things. And that's one I want to lean into also. Yeah, so that's why you have the indicator, right, Miguel? I don't know about Palantir, but I mean Palantir of drones maybe for sure. I'm bullish on it for sure. I look at purple sell. Always sell on purple. Sell everything. These ones you don't have to sell everything. These aren't sell everythings. These are just sell zones. Watch for momentum flipping. Okay. But you can see there's another like obviously if you went to the bigger time frame, right? If you have an investing outlook, what I will do is I will look to buy based on the daily time frame. Boom, here's your last time you got a buy signal. Was down here at 72 cents. Okay, white reset crossed. When's the last time the white reset? Most recently, right here on this candle, 584. and we're getting close to a trim level, but momentum has not shifted. We have not seen a shift or crossover or anything or MACD flip red yet. So that's why this is a very light trim, but it only signals because we got to the valuation to where to start looking to trim, okay? So we didn't get trimmed this whole way. Now we finally got some trims action, but we need to see some confirmation that we should trim. If we go to the weekly on ONDS, what does that look like, right? I look at the daily and the weekly. Okay, we got the trim. We see momentum on the weekly is still trending up. We see this curling back up. Nothing is telling me this is a trimming moment. Yeah. So I'm going to circle back to that spreadsheet, Miguel, now that you saw that on ONDS. So yeah, so the spreadsheet I use, let me zoom out on this one real quick. There you go. This is a wheel strategy spreadsheet. So let's go to Archer. I've done a lot on Archer. Okay, here you go. So yeah, I've plugged in, you plug in anything in the yellow. Okay, so I opened my contract on 5/27. My cost basis was 11.78. I did a covered call with an expiration date on 6/6 at $12 for 4 contracts, 30-cent premium. That's $120 credit or premium I'm collecting. 2.5% return annualized for 10 days. If you do it every day or every 10 days for a whole year, that is 92% return. The collateral I'm using is the 4,700 because that's the cost basis of my shares. I expired and didn't give away my shares, so I collected all $120. Okay. Same thing on a put. If you do the put, you just put your cost basis as what you'd own it for, because that would be your cost basis if you got the shares. Okay. One contract, $40, did the $40. I closed it early for 22 cents. So instead of holding it for 11 days, I actually held it for only 4 days, collected 1.89%. Annual return, if I could do that every 4 days, is 172%. Okay, so this automatically you just plug this in, it calculates it all. Here's the average of when I enter my trades. I'm on an average looking for a 4.3% return. I'm averaging about 362 on a credit. Okay, I'm actually leaving, instead of getting 362, I am profiting 280 average with a 2.67. So yeah, this all calculates for you. If you own the stock, all you'll do is you'll put the shares and you'll put your cost basis. Okay. And I actually now own another 1,000 and I own the cost basis. It does the cost basis for you. So you just put what your transactions are. Okay. There. And then here's your 30-day trend. If you need a quick link to your Archer or whatever the ticker is, it'll automatically put it there for you. So you can just go ahead and click there. There's your Archer information. Okay. And then if you look to here, here's my wheel profit. Here's my overall profit. Here's my current stock profit based on my cost basis. Okay, if this was to be assigned at $15 when I had this covered call that I collected pretty much all of it, when I had this, if it got assigned, my strike profit would have been 16,000. Exercised, because 16 plus the wheel would have been the exercised profit if it exercised at that price. Okay, so it does it all for you. Then the cool part about this is when you plug these in, this will say, actually, when you start over fresh, it'll say stock 1, stock 2, stock 3, stock 4, and then you change the name. But I can actually go to my total wheel. Here's my total wheel. Okay, my total wheel premium, this isn't updated again. This is just like now the dummy account that I can show everybody. Here's the total wheel profit for the year, 50 grand. Okay. Here's Archer, here's SBET, here's ASST or ASTS, Rocket Lab, right? Zeta, BBA, Oscar. Here's all of them. Okay. And this automatically inputs when you manually enter it into these ones. Okay. When I enter it here, it copies automatically for you here. So all you need to look at is the top. And here's how you've been entering all your trades. Here is how you've been exiting all your trades, averaging. So it really helps you manage. Now, this isn't only a wheel strategy. You can also do your portfolio. Okay, here's your normal dashboard, so you can actually see your overall account. Here's your performance. Here's your wheel strategy performance. Here's your stock returns and how they sit actively. Okay, I actually don't have Fubo anymore, so that's fine. Well, I have it, but not at that price. I sold and then got back in it. Okay, stock distance from my target price. I don't have the targets in there right now, but if you put your target price, let's just go here. Target price for Rocket Lab is 200. Okay, I'm 285% away. Well, this will update. As the stock goes up, right, it'll get closer and closer. And what I use the stock distance for is, okay, something right now, right, Rocket Lab is 285% away from their target, and ASTS is only 100 away. Okay, well, I should go ahead and probably sell some of this and buy more of this because the upside potential that I see is greater, right? It lets me help manage it. Here's your stock allocations. And then when you have it in sectors like healthcare, financials, this will update and tell you which sectors your allocations are heavily in. You also will have some wheel calculators. So cash secured put calculator, just always edit yellow. Don't touch any other colors. But go ahead and plug there. It'll calculate for you so you can know whether or not you want to make that trade. This will be red if you don't, or based on like my rules. And then covered call calculator is right here. So for placing covered calls, it'll calculate. If you ever want to do poor man's covered calls, or if you need to learn how to do a roll for your covered call calculator and you want to compare two different type of rolls, this will tell you. And then comparison tool, if you're comparing a bunch of different covered calls, bunch of different tickers, 5 different tickers, or one ticker, and you want to do different strikes and figure out which one is best based on return and everything like that, and you only have a certain amount of money, then you can change that, and it'll base the amount of contracts off the amount of money you have available to do so. Okay. That is what this is for. You can add your watch list in there. This does the same thing where if you want to buy it at a certain price, how far away from that target are you? Right? I want to buy Cypher at 1350. I need a 50% drop to even get there. I'm looking to buy 500 shares at 1350. So capital I need to make sure I have ready to buy is 6750. That's how that works. Okay. That is the spreadsheet. It is also in the WAP. Let me go back wherever that is here. We have our indicator tracker. We have the spreadsheet. Spreadsheet is just a one-time. Once you pay it, you have it. You get all the updates. You get everything. It's just a one-time thing. It's not a reoccurring monthly. Okay. And it's on Google. It's just Google Sheets. It updates. It does live feed for stocks and everything like that. Any other questions on the market before we get out of here? I got to go help my buddy move. I told him I'd be ready at 12, so I got 15 minutes, so that means I have 5 minutes for you guys left before I got to go move him. Okay. Of course, Miguel. Again, anyone you want in the community as well that you enjoy talking with that you think would fit the positive community, please let them know about it. And yeah, any other ones before I get off? Again, do you guys prefer watching this in Discord, or would you guys just click over to the YouTube one when it posts in that YouTube feed in our Discord? It posts the link because I am live streaming also on YouTube. Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. Well, you're here now, and there's plenty of time. So we're going to have a great time. Again, my mindset always is long-term investing, so my trades might not be as frequent as other traders, but I will still keep talking to you guys about other things and what I see, so that way you guys can make the decision whether or not you want to then hop in that stock. But I try to limit, and again, growth happens a lot by going more into fewer stocks than spreading your wealth out very modestly through a bunch of stocks. They say diversification is good, but they also know that can kill wealth growth because obviously if you put all your money into IREN, right, or ONDS or any of these stocks that when they're really cheap and then they skyrocket, that's a lot versus doing a little here, little there, and then that stock goes, this stock drops, right? If you just go lean into one, 2, 3, 4, or 5, I think for the majority, I'm getting to a place where I have a little too many and I'm going to start cutting it back, but I am waiting. Yeah, I wasn't sure, so I'm doing it on all 3 right now. I'm recording for the YouTube video, and again, I'll trim this stuff out, but I will go ahead and record the YouTube video, and the streaming for YouTube happens on the same platform. opening it up on the Discord is a separate thing. So that's why I was just trying to figure out if you guys prefer watching it on here. The problem with Discord is it doesn't record it. So I can't, you guys can't watch it back unless I do the YouTube thing to record it. And YouTube records the live streams to watch those back. So, but for now, I'll keep doing that until YouTube one picks up some traction maybe and we start going there. All right. Any other ones that you guys are wondering? Trim, sell, buy, take a look at. Can you guys hear me fine? The mic? I got a comment on my YouTube video that the audio wasn't loud enough. Perfect. Oscar, they're going to try to get people to not be in this thing. They do not. That's so annoying. Just let it run. Go to my freaking targets. Get up there. Okay, I'll fix the YouTube audio. I don't know why it's different. Maybe it's one of my, it might be my mic setting on this side. Maybe I accidentally turned it down. Let's see. Let's take a look. One sec. Volume, that's headset. Oh, here we go. Maybe that'll help. Did that get louder on your guys' end too? Right now? Or maybe it's just for the YouTube videos. I might have to repost that YouTube video again. Just repost it, up the audio on the recording. Okay. Thank you. I'll take a look at it and adjust. I have it different because I'm listening to it on my computer, right? And I have some speakers and everything. So, and I'm like in a silent office. So there's not a lot of noise going around me to know whether or not that's loud enough. And I hate when I turn on, like, when when you're watching a show and a commercial comes on and it's like blasting and you're like, ugh. Like, I don't want to put that bad taste in somebody's mouth either, where I just ruined their day because the audio just slammed them. Okay, Miguel. I'll test it and then I might shoot you over a video and tell me what that audio sounds like. Alrighty, guys. That is it. If you guys have questions, shoot them over. I will be helping somebody move, so I might not get to it right away, but I will get to it. I usually don't leave an answer or a question unanswered. Just might take me a little bit. Again, community is free, so please give me a little bit of leniency on that with getting to things, just because it's not, obviously it's not my day job, but I'm here to help. Awesome, guys. I'll see you guys later.